Hi everyone, today I wanted to take a look at this video doorbell I was bought a few years ago. I've never used it, to be honest. As far as I know, everything's working, but I never trusted it. It's one of those things, a lot of IoT devices are particularly insecure. So I thought we'd have a look today, see if we can maybe get a shell on it, maybe extract some firmware. I don't really know where this is going to go, but I figured we'd crack it open and have a look. So let's see what we can do. So just turn it over, open it up. So it takes 18650 cell batteries, which I have got some somewhere. I'll find them in a bit. It looks like we've got 6 screws on the back, which are Phillips. Let me just grab one of these. Get the iFixit toolkit. And we'll have a look at what we've got inside. Yeah, I really like the idea of video doorbell. In fact, I have got one, which is stores everything locally. But some of these sort of no-name IoT devices, I just don't trust. Don't trust to have them on my network, even sort of segregated onto another VLAN. You know, you're not sure what they're doing with the video, audio they're recording outside your house. I'm interested if anybody's got one of these or something similar. Interested to hear what your thoughts are in the comments. Okay, so it's got a couple of connections on sort of wires connecting this. Looks like I think there's a speaker on the bottom. It's got a wire which just needs disconnecting here, and then it's got the battery terminal here. So I think I should just be able to get in with a little flat screwdriver and pop those out. He says. I'm going to say they'll just pull out. There we go. There's no... I don't think these are the connectors that have clips on them. I think they are just push-in ones. So I'm going to get this. This is the. Well, yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but on top here, this is a daughter board. It looks like it's got some more Phillips, but smaller than that size. So let's go for maybe this one. There we go. Is that loose? There we go. Okay. I see. So this is the sort of main connector to the daughter board. I'll bring it up to the camera a little bit. Does that focus? It's got like a tiny pin header here, which pushes onto a connector on this side. Screws onto there, so that's interesting. This looks like the main board beneath it. Where's the... Gosh, are those glued in? I'm fairly sure these are the sorts of connections that just pop out. This is where I regret biting my nails. Let's see, I've got a small pair of pliers maybe. There we go. And then we've just got what I assume is the Wi-Fi aerial at the top there as well. That is hot glued in place. Let's have a... I think that's just on one of those push-in connectors like you get. Yeah, actually the hot glue looks like it's broken now. That's good. That should just pop off. Right, that's the back free. This smaller board, what's this got on it? This has a tactile tack switch for something. that going to be for? That's going to be that's the reset button on the back, so that's going to press into there. These I think are contacts for keeping it charged up. There's an SD card slot here. I assume you can have some kind of storage. What's this? This was this way. Oh, that pokes through the back. Oh, I bet that's an anti-tamper sort of sensor. And then what I think is possibly a charging port. Maybe, I'm not actually sure about that. This at the back here is definitely, I don't know if you can see the symbols on this, but it's got two squiggly lines on this side. And then it's got a plus and a minus here, so I think that's a full bridge rectifier in one package. So probably what that is to rectify if you're using normal doorbell circuitry, which I think is like 16 or possibly 24 volts AC. So sometimes you can get little doorbell transformers. So I suspect that's what that is. This component on the side is interesting. I think that's another aerial of some description. Not sure, but I think the bits we're interested in are going to be on here. So what have we got? I'll tell you what, shall I switch to the microscope? Oh, let's zoom in first and we'll see if we can see any better. Okay, so we've got a few different chips on here. We've got this one, which is a what is that? Sorry, I'm just gonna. I mean, you can probably see that better than I can. It's got quite a few different markings. High 3518 ER BCV 200 and a DP13. Interesting. This is interesting where it's got the shield on it. I wonder if that's kind of possibly to do the Wi-Fi. It does an FN link, so maybe. I think what I'm going to do. Ooh, that could be interesting. Tiny little 8-pin package there. Another 8-pin package here. Okay, I'm going to get the microscope and I'm going to have a bit of a Google, see what we can find out about these chips. I shall be right back. Okay, so with the help of some movie magic, we now find out what some of these chips do. So I was interested in these two because to me they look like they could be the flash storage, and that could be a really interesting way to target firmware extraction. So that might be something we have a look at. So having a quick look around, this one here, which I'll put the data sheet for on the screen somewhere, link in the description as well. This is flash storage. Now I suspect this is for firmware. This seems to be a dedicated IC for cameras, which is interesting. This is a charge chip, and then this is a wireless chip. So it's interesting. So I think this is our sort of primary target. Also, this is a 24 megahertz crystal, which is going to be for this one. I'm also quite interested. These pin headers, which have even got the actual what they call the headers installed, weren't connected, and I wonder if one of those could even be a serial port. So what I'm going to do is pull this board out entirely, have a bit more of a look at what's on the other side of it, and go from there. But my gut feel is we might try and lift this off and have a look at the, well, what I hope will be the firmware. See what securities they've got around it. You know, it's possibly encrypted, but I think a device at this price point, I don't know how much it was, but I don't think it was particularly expensive. I'm guessing they've not done any real protection on there. So I'll have a look, we'll see what we find. Even better, I think, in some ways, would be if we can get a serial port and we can get an actual root console on this. Would be really interesting. But either way, This should lift away, does it? There we go. Just gonna pop these in my little tray. Yeah, so I think this is an IR emitter. Oh, sorry, these are IR emitters. I think this must be some kind of passive infrared sensor, maybe. Yeah, these are IR LEDs. And obviously, you got the camera on the front. There doesn't look to be any particularly interesting components on here. There's nothing I'm looking at going, oh, that's interesting. I am genuinely interested in these. I might see if I can get the microscope out, and maybe. Sorry, you can't see anything. So me just having a look. Maybe. Well, let's see if we can work out where these go. And just following it through, they're coming. I'll come back to this chip. Let me have a bit of a read on the data sheet for that chip and see what they're likely to be. Let's have a see what we can do. Focus. Okay, so we've taken this board out. What I've done is I've put a little clip on it, on what I think is the flash chip, connected that up to this, I think it was EEPROM reader of some description. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Minipro, which is some software. I think it's available across Linux and Windows, etc. But I'm going to use that on the Mac to hopefully try and read this flash, and we'll see where we get to. So what I'm just going to do is make a directory. What should we call this? Doorbell. Excellent. Right, first thing we should do is remember what kind of chip this was. Minipro list. I did look for this off camera, so I should have it in the search history. There we go. And the size of the package is an SOP8. That's just you can tell by the shape of it. If you Google for, I don't know, IC package types or something, I'm sure it'll be fine. So this is the make of the chip that's in this reader. Yes, I need to update the firmware. It's a job for another day though. Right, so we've got that. So what we need to do is, I think you do dash P. Ow. Hold on. So I go for selecting stuff. Minipro dash B. That dash pin check. I think it is. Bad contact on pin 38. So if I just, oh, that did sound like some stuff came off. Yeah, that made it worse. If I push down on here, pin 37. Oh, that was worse. Right, it gets back on again. This has a habit of coming off, especially when you're trying to get onto chips in circuit. Well, I just realised that's the wrong way around, which is never going to help. Oh, I need to do a Blue Peter thing like this, you know, one of those, here's one I made earlier. So just getting that on the chip. And of course it immediately pops off. The problem with, especially with these little chips when they're soldered to the board, the legs are quite angled and it tends to just pop these little clips off. It is in some ways easier to take them off the board, in some ways then I have to go get the soldering iron out. Well, hot air gun probably. It's also probably a dirt cheap, terrible clip I got off Amazon. I don't do this very often. I don't know if you can tell that. Zoom in so you can see a bit more about what's going on. No focus. Focus. Focus, focus, focus. What if I do this and come further down? So what I'm trying to do is get this clip onto that chip. You know what? I'm taking it off the board. Not enough time for this. Right, one moment, I'll get soldering iron out. Okay. I've got the board out and I've got the hot air gun set to 350. This is just warming up, and what we're going to do is get some air on this. And hopefully without melting too much, we'll just be able to lift this chip off. I tell you what, I can see from here that I've kind of munged it up a bit with that clip as well, so. There we go. Right, I'm done with that board for now. This should be a lot easier to deal with. He says hopefully. What I can do is I can get it, check it's not too hot, seems okay. Pin one's on this corner, pin one's on that corner. And that's a little bit for it. I do have somewhere a thing that lets you, there we go. So that's clipped into there now. What I'm going to do is get set back up again with the laptop. And hopefully we get a nice connection and then we'll pop this chip back in. I guess maybe we don't need to if I'm never going to use it, but you know, it's good to have. Right. Oh yeah, yeah, we are. Cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is a pin check. That passed. Now we're out of circuit as well. Hopefully this will not have the issue with overcurrent protection. But we should just be able to do -r firmware .bin say. Ooh, we got a different chip ID. Maybe that is the wrong chip then. So one thing you can do with Minipro from memory is like auto detect 8-pin. Here we go, 3 devices found. Did that read it? It did not, right. So given that it's a SOP A, I think it might be this one. So let's do -B. No matches found. Is that quoting? Bash being helpful, I think, with the brackets. Okay, that looks like we're reading the firmware. Awesome. This takes some time. It's probably faster for you. I'll do magic in editing. Success! Hey! Right, we have at least the content of that chip. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say we've got the firmware yet. For all we know, it's encrypted. But let's have a look at what we've got. Right, firmware.bin. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is try what's called bin walk. And what bin walk is, it kind of iterates over a file. I think it looks for the magic bytes, you know, the headers at the start of files to discover what files are in a file, if that makes sense, sort of. Oh, I'm just talking gibberish. Okay, so this is good. So we've got a file system, so I think we might even be able to extract that. I think if you bin walk -e, I should even extract the file system. No such file or directory, Jefferson. Okay. G2, do I need that? I'm just guessing at this point. Maybe. JFFS2. JFFS2. Okay. So we're back at it. I've got this Jefferson program working now. Still not on the path, but whatever. We can deal with it. Does it have a help? Yes. So if I just give it the file system, help, force, D for destination directory, default is Jefferson, that's probably fine. So what's it called? It's 5000. So if I just give it that, what does it do? It gives me some files. Oh, they're slightly disappointing actually. Right. So honestly, I was hoping that this this flash storage would have a Linux file system or something similar in. Honestly, what I'm seeing here is some WAV files, scene auto.ini, which let's have a look at. Better off scene auto. Look. Let's see what this file is. So this just has some settings, possibly different scenes. I'm not seeing anything here that is interesting like I wanted. I'm actually looking for maybe some of the Wi-Fi stuff. I'm pretty sure this runs a web server on here. You know, I really want to get into the operating system. I mean, we have some like sounds that it plays. Let's see what this will do. There you go. Or UBI-A connected.
Wi-Fi connected.
Ooh. Okay, we've managed to get some of the sounds out of it. I do wonder what these are. Day and night binary files. Day. It just says data. Can Binwalk get anything out of it? No. See what we can do with like a hex dump dash C. Can't into there. Put it to less or something. No? It's because I was using the word binwalk. Nothing loose. Nothing super exciting. Okay. Well, I think unfortunately that SPI chip, this one, which I'm going to put back on the board in a second, didn't have what we were after. But it's okay, we can keep trying. But maybe that's a story for another day. Thanks for watching.